Hi everyone, I'm Ishmeet Singh. I'm a technical marketing engineer at Cisco Systems. So today I've got an interesting topic to go and talk about. So today we will talk about the AsyncOS 10.1, which we would be talking about with the new features which we have brought in on WSA. So let's get started. So our topic for today would be WSA AsyncOS 10.1. So prior, if you remember, I covered the AsyncOS 10.0 release. So now let's go ahead and talk more about what we are bringing on the table with 10.1. So the first feature which we guys are bringing on the table with AsyncOS 10.1 is the centralized upgrade. Now, you would be wondering, where is this centralized upgrade and how we were planning to go ahead and do that on WSA. So this feature is more on the SMA, which we used to call the Security Management Appliance. Now, if you know, SMA has been used for centralized management as well as for centralized reporting. Now with this new feature which we have brought, it would be also used for centralized upgrade. Now let's look at one of the customer scenario, how this specific feature would be helpful. So let's take a scenario where we have our headquarters. So this is my headquarters where I have SMA as well as I have WSA. And along with that, I would have my remote sites. Say this is site 1, this is my site 2, and this is my site 3. So all are connected. So let's take, like that is my WSA 1, this is my WSA 2 over here, and this is my WSA 3. Now if you see over here, we have, this is 3 and this is 4, sorry about that. So if you see over here, we have 4 WSAs, and we have just one single SMA which is managing all these 4 WSA appliances. Now with this feature, what would happen is when you click on the centralized upgrade, you would find the list of all the available upgrades. So say for example, you have 9.1, you have 9.1.1, and along with that, with the new release, you would have 10.1. So these are all my general deployment releases. Now what I can do is that I can have my WSA 1 plus WSA 2, WSA 3, and WSA 4, which I have all these WSAs. I can map them to an individual releases, or I can even club them to a specific release. So from an SMA, now I can go ahead and upgrade all my WSA appliances where I can go ahead and initiate that request from the SMA itself. So I hope everyone would be looking at this feature and they would find it pretty exciting that with this new feature, now you don't need to go and individually go on every single appliance and click on the upgrade. So that's the first feature which we have brought in. Okay, so now let's talk about the second feature which we have brought in AsyncOS 10.1. The second feature is the high performance virtual appliance, which is S600V. Now, you would recall that we have been having multiple virtual appliances. So if we look at the virtual appliances, we have S300V, then we have S100V, as well as we have S000V, which is mainly for our demo perspective. So if we look at all these releases, we can very well see that we were having this 300V for a long time, and what we have done while bringing this 600V, we have almost doubled the performance. It's almost double than what you would be getting on 300V. And you can very well compare this 600V with S670. So that is what we guys are talking about as a performance. Now let's look at like why we guys are talking about as a software with different versions. So I agree that when we talk about a software, the software base is the same, like when I talk about the software, that would be the image. So we can have this image in two form factors. One is the KVM, the other one is OVF. So you have these images in two form factors, but one of the most important thing which differentiates all these images is three form factors. What are these three form factors? Let's have a deep dive. The first one is the CPU, the other one is the RAM, and the last one is the hard disk. These are the three form factors which differentiates these model numbers or these virtual releases. Now, one of the key element which we guys have brought in, and the reason we guys want to keep them different, is that these have a minimum set of hardware configuration. So if you don't adhere to this minimum hardware configuration, you would not be able to go and might be install any of these images. And one of the key factor to keep that in mind is that you get the better performance. And that's one of the reasons we brought in this 600V as well. Okay. Now, let's talk about the third feature which we guys have brought in this AsyncOS 10.1, which is archive inspection. Now, most of you would be wondering, what is this archive inspection? Does it look like a new feature? So let me give you a scenario what I mean by this archive inspection. Now, let's take a scenario where mainly executable files are not being allowed in the company. So let's talk about, oh, okay, I have an executable file. What I want to do is I want to block that. So nobody should be able to go and download any executable file. But what we have in the organization is smart people, where they want to fiddle around, or you have even hackers coming in from the outside world. What they want to do is they want to put this executable file into any of these archive techniques, like you have zip, you have tar, you have rar, or might be say 7-zip, okay? So what they want to do is they want to put these files into them and just go ahead and send it over, because this would be compressed file, it would be encrypted, and they want to make sure that they take advantage for that. So what we guys thought about is that let's make sure that whatever files which we are coming in, we want to make sure that we are doing further inspection and making sure that if the files which you are blocking are still being blocked, if it is even into any of these archive file types. So what we have done is we would be supporting around 10 different file archive types. And when we see this archive types, and as soon as you go to your access policy, you go to the object and try to block these objects, it would be also blocked into any of these 10 file archive types with just one command which you need to go ahead and put on, which would be inspect. Okay, so with the help of this inspect command, you would be able to go in and block these file types. So this wraps up what we guys are bringing on the table with this 10.1 release, where we talked about first is the centralized upgrade, then we talked about the high performance S600V, and the last we talked about the archive inspection. I hope you found this video pretty informative, and just go to the release notes and you would be able to find more documentation, and you would be able to find what these features would be able to go and help you within your network. Okay, till then, all the best. Bye-bye.